Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include
Have meetings probably later on in January, get together.
I consider these types of activities very...
Cool shutters now, it's too hot for that. Go ahead. What do you look like?
We took our camera to the Senior Center site this past week to see if there's any further progress being made there. Not a whole lot has changed since our last visit to the seniors site. Most of the siding is on the building, as well as some of the windows are in place, but to date the floor hasn't been started, neither has the roof. As you can see, some supports have been put in place against the walls to help support them in the high winds. The morning and evening choirs at St. John the Evangelist Church were scheduled to go Christmas caroling on Friday night. However, due to inclement weather, the Christmas caroling had to be postponed until sometime next week. I had an interview with Union President Ron Cooper regarding negotiations between the Union and Seafreeze Foods. Ron, I understand you were in Corner Brook this past week for meetings with Seafreeze officials.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. We were in for meetings on Wednesday and Thursday. That's the second time now we've sat in with Seafreeze that we're in, in negotiations for a new contract. Ours expired as of 31st of October. We had meetings earlier in the year in Burgeo, and this week we had meetings in Cornwall.
Okay, how are you doing with the negotiations?
Well, at this time we've agreed as a committee that we don't want to make any comments on our negotiations. We're a long ways apart, I guess, but we've made some progress from the meetings that we had in Burgeo to the meetings we've had in Corner Brook. We haven't made, we're closer together now than what we was when we had meetings in Burgeo. And we've agreed that we should have meetings probably later on in January, get together both sides, look at the issues more closely, and get together again in sometime in January.
Okay, did they inform you as to when the plant will be open?
It is our understanding from a meeting on Wednesday morning, one of the first issues that we talked about was when the plant was going to reopen. They said January. They were going to send their boats fishing early in January, and our trawlers were going to land in Burgeo. The plant would reopen early in January.
Will the plant be opening before negotiations or something?
That is our understanding. We don't know if it's going to be the last of January before we meet, or if it's going to be first. Our understanding is that the plant is going to be reopened early in January, regardless of negotiations. That's our understanding.
Ron, rumor has it that Seafreeze's license to process fish at the Burgeo plant has been revoked.
I think that's more rumor, Dave. I heard it yesterday, and I talked to George Coley this morning. He told me that there's normal procedure when a plant been down for a long period of time, that the fish inspector go through the plant and they see cracks in the cement floor or paint coming off of pipes or things like this, that they tells them, issues them with a paper and says that if they don't get these things fixed, that they will not be allowed to reopen the plant. And Mr. Coley assured me that the only thing that he got to do is write a letter to the fisher officer and tell him that he's going to get these things repaired and the license is automatically renewed, so he told me that's only just normal procedure. It happens just about every time that you shut the plant down for a long period of time.
Okay, Ron, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, Dave, that's about it, I guess, when it comes to the plant and negotiations. I guess we'll be having a meeting sometime in the new year, shortly before the plant reopens or shortly after. We haven't decided yet. The other thing that I'd like to pass along is we've been notified by the manager that Seafree will be issuing their employees this year with turkeys. So if you haven't got a turkey back, don't go out and buy one. And we will be having a Christmas party. I think the community center, I think it's for the 21st. We got it booked for next Saturday. But we'll have it on BBS next week. The time that it's going to start and all the details will be on BBS. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a very happy and prosperous New Year.
Okay, Ron, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, Dave.
The guardrails are now being put in place on the access to and from the new Smalls Island Bridge. The bridge itself has been completed. As you can see, there are vehicles parked on it. A local contractor, Cooper's Construction, were hired to put the guardrails in place on the accesses leading to and from the bridge. Then, once the road has been patched up, that's all that is being done for this year. Next year, the road will be upgraded and paved leading to and from the bridge. The Department of Transportation have purchased a new piece of equipment for snow clearing on this end of the Burgeo Road.
You never get the car on this
I
side.
would not bring my car over this snow no way.
Gord, what happened on Friday? You had a van came in on Friday?
Yes, came in on Friday. We broke down the Lloyd's River here. Took us 5 o'clock to get Steve now. Time enough to get her in the graves. Get her done up enough to leave, come back home. No freight. Got back so far as Burnt River. Broke down again. The bike had to take the boys in Virgil. Never even got the car sore running.
So,
They were gone.
so what have you got to do with her now then?
So I got to take her back in the garage. All the brakes got to be done. And well, chains all in there. Got to be able to put on there. And the steering. They got knocks in the steering. You know, I don't know what happened there.
So that's going to be a considerable cost, $400 or $500 damage.
Yeah.
And never even gotten your package out.
Not one. Just from one garage back to another. Fix the trip.
It's
You don't know what to do, see.
it's unbelievable because once you get in so far and you get committed,
You've got to
You know.
keep going. And just up here, Lloyd, around the corner,
bad.
where that hole in the road is.
Okay, I'll watch out for that one. Let's get over there.
Side of the road down there.
There are patches of it that you can manage, you know, but you can't build up any speed because,
Now in the truck, I wouldn't even get her in gear going there.
no,
Slow it up for the next thing.
yeah. Must be awful hard on the gearboxes and that too, you know.
I had an interview with Miss Barbara Barter this past week concerning the theater arts course being offered at the high school. Miss Barter, how long have you been teaching theater arts?
I've been teaching theater arts since the course came on stream. I would say off the top of my head about 10 years.
So do you enjoy teaching theater arts?
Yes, yes, I think it's one of my my more favorite courses, really.
Okay, what's involved in the curriculum for the theater arts course?
The theater arts course is developed in such a way that students become exposed to such activities as miming, pantomiming, public speaking, role-playing scenes, improvisation, memorization, character development, and storytelling.
Okay, it seems as though the students are doing things a little differently this year than in the past year. Is that the case?
Well, yes, that's quite true for this year. I started off, I think, basically the same as I did every other year. But I discovered that the students, or I felt that the students had more energy and had more of an ability to problem solve this year. Therefore, I felt that I could leave out some of the steps that I would normally take with students and decided that I'd go beyond the book. And we ended up, I think, at the beginning of the year, starting with the chapter. And then we had a letter from a group in St. John's. They're called Solo Group, who had put together a program that was called Youth Speak. And it was based on teenagers being able to convey their ideas about social issues and yet doing it through drama. So I had read this to my students and just to feel out how they would react. And they became very enthused about the idea of looking at basic societal issues and putting them into a form of role play. So with that, I can't say the program went out the window because we've covered so much since the initial start of that we've gone beyond what probably they would be at normally if they stuck to the chapter. So we decided to take what Youth Speak had asked for and develop 10-minute scenes based on social pressures that teenagers encounter. And from there, I think one series of events just sort of fell into the other, and we started script writing, we started improvisations, we started staging, we started makeup, and we started doing library research, and the next thing we knew, we were into major productions. So that usually wouldn't happen to a regular theatre arts group until much later in the year. And then it ended up that both lots of students, because I had 21 students, and they both ended up wanting to do 2 different issues. So I kind of said, well, okay, only one group's supposed to perform, but you can each do an issue, and we'll cross the next bridge when we come to it. And it just happened that when I passed in the issues to Sheila Guy for the solo group in St. John's, she decided that maybe both could be performed. So we took it from there, each group doing their own productions, and they went to Stephenville and performed. And it ended up being a very popular thing. It caught on in the school. The teenagers that viewed it in the school were very pleased with what was happening. Adults were very pleased with what was happening, and so it just went from there into the making of this particular video.
Okay, and if the time they spent down here is any indication, I think they're enjoying the course so far.
Yes, they're a very enthusiastic group, and for sure. And to me, I've done very little except guide. And they did all the script writing, they did the research work, they put the music together. They put the scenes together the way that they wanted them. They drew up the dialogues, and it's been hard work, I think, but I think they've learned a lot from it, and they've been gung-ho right from day one. And even to the idea of taping, because when you start putting these things into television productions as opposed to live stage acting, they start learning other things as well. They start realizing that you might have to do scenes 50 times over before you get them right. And so they really had to learn to cooperate with each other and be relatively good-natured and be able to deal with the problems as they arrive. And I think from my perspective, from viewing the film, working with the little bit of technology that we have in this community, because even BBS itself doesn't have a lot of lighting and a lot of technology in doing things that you might want to do. We seem to be limited in what we can create. But looking at what has been done with the limitations that we have, I'm really, really pleased.
Okay, Ms. Barter, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, other than for me as a teacher, I think, I consider these types of activities very, very important. number one, they're an outlet for students to say, these are our problems, and the being able to role play those ideas on stage to other people is one way to convey exactly how they feel about things. Teenagers generally won't stand up and say, I believe this is happening, or I don't like what I'm seeing, or whatever. But yet, if you give them a social issue to address, such as the one that we did on date rape, and the one we did on drugs, you start to realize that they do have a lot of concern about the things that they have to face as young people in today's world. And allowing them to express that to drama, I think is something that's going to be a lifetime experience for them.
Okay, so I guess you, as a teacher, must find it really rewarding to see them put out productions such as the two.
Very, yes, very, very rewarding. Knowing that they can be independent enough, that they can problem solve and make their own decisions and say, this is what we want, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to express it, to me is something that we often spend years trying to build, but we often try to build it through conformity in the classroom. And if you're trying to build a tower, it's hard to put it in a one square place in a limited amount of space and say, you know, you have to develop into this human being, and yet you have to follow my rules. So I kind of, although I guess I did set some rules in saying, for example, okay, it must be only 10 minutes, for example. Everything else that they did, I just kind of let them go, and I'm glad I did.
Okay, Ms. Barter, thank you.
Thank you.
The two plays that we aired a few weeks back performed by the theater arts class were re-recorded in our studio this past week. We will be playing them again after the news tonight. We hope you tune in. Community events. The Lioness TV bingo held on Wednesday night was won by Craig Kendall. The fire department will be having a TV bingo on Wednesday, December 18th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each, or 6 for $5, and are available in most stores around town or from any fire brigade member. Please support your local fire department by playing TV bingo. Hey kids, be sure and tune in next Sunday because Santa will be coming on live taking calls from kids. If you would like to tell Santa what you want for Christmas, be sure and call in between 2 and 4 p.m. on Sunday, December 22nd. We will be filming our Christmas bandwagon tomorrow night at 7 p.m. For any performer who would like to come in and do a few Christmas songs, please feel free to drop by. We will be having a Christmas radio show on Monday, December 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. We will be playing only Christmas music for this show. For anyone who wants to call in, put in a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas greeting, you can feel free to call in at that time. Newfoundland Labrador Hydro wish to advise its customers at Burgeo of a power outage on Tuesday, December 17th from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. All areas will be affected, including cabins. The purpose of the outage is to replace damaged meter tanks. Newfoundland Labrador Hydro apologizes for any inconvenience to any of their customers. Attention graduates of 1988. St. John Central High is currently looking for cap and gown pictures of each student. The school is trying to set up a display of the graduating classes from present to as far back as possible. Please contact Karen at 886-2590 during school hours or 886-2546 after 5 p.m. We hope you like the Christmas sit that the volunteers and I put together this weekend. We have a condensed version to show you now of this sit taking shape.
Yeah. I said, what do you look like on TV?
Can't see much. I got glasses on, so I can't see much either. I'm looking at it. Gorgeous. Top of this land. That is.
I know. Well, that's it for tonight's program. We hope you enjoyed it.
Please stay tuned now for the 2 plays by the Theatre Arts. Turn on, tune in, drop out, and you have the right to say no. On behalf of BBS and the BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper. Have a great week. Good night.